Article 55. Recovery of recoverable input tax in the tax period. 1. Timing of input tax recovery. A taxable person is allowed to recover input tax by deducting it in the tax return for the first eligible tax period, provided certain conditions are met. This recovery process must comply with the provisions of Article 56 of the Decree Law, which deals with input tax apportionment and adjustments. 2. Conditions for input tax recovery. For input tax to be recoverable in the first tax period, the following two conditions must both be satisfied. A. Receipt and retention of valid documents. The taxable person must receive and keep the correct supporting documents to prove that input tax was paid. This includes different types of documents depending on the nature of the supply. I. Domestic purchases of goods or services. The taxable person must have a valid tax invoice that complies with all the requirements of the Decree Law. The tax invoice must clearly state the details of the supply, including VAT charged. Alternatively, if the supply falls under Clause 3 of Article 65, the taxable person must keep any other legally acceptable document that serves as evidence of the supply and the VAT paid. 2. Imports of goods. The taxable person must receive and retain both the import invoice and the import documents, such as customs declarations, to prove VAT was paid on the import. These documents must comply with the Decree Law and the Executive Regulation. 3. Imports of services. For imported services, the taxable person must receive and retain invoices in accordance with the Decree Law and Executive Regulation. The invoices must show that VAT was declared on the imported service. B. Payment of consideration. In addition to receiving proper documents, the taxable person must also pay the consideration, full or part payment, for the supply, as specified in the Executive Regulation of the Decree Law. 3. Recovery in the following tax period if missed. If a taxable person fails to recover input tax during the correct tax period, the first period in which both conditions were satisfied, the taxable person is still allowed to recover that input tax in the next tax period. This provides flexibility, ensuring that recoverable input tax is not permanently lost if the taxable person misses the correct reporting period. 4. Practical implication. This article ensures that input tax recovery follows a clear and documented process, tied to proper record keeping and actual payment of consideration. It balances the taxable person's right to recover tax with the FTA's need to verify proper documentation and compliance. For more details, contact us.